Hey, what's good with the YouTube, man? It's your boy Rojo, and this is the motherfucking Rojo Room, and I'm with my boy, the homie, Big Gun Gun. And today we got an interesting topic, man. I'm gonna lace you guys up with this statement from the Attorney General, and it's gonna be regarding the Oak Park Bloods. Very interesting, man. They usually I don't see too many federal probes targeting the brothers. So we found this pretty interesting. And then me and Gunnar are going to break it down, man. So we'll get right to it. This is from the Attorney General's office, the Department of Justice, California.gov. Oakland, California Attorney General Rob Bonta today announced the results of a multi-agency investigation into the Sacramento-based criminal street gang, the Oak Park Bloods. Members of the gang are allegedly responsible for a series of violent crimes, including numerous homicides, and were identified by the Sacramento Police Department as a significant threat to the community. The arrests were the result of a joint investigation and subsequent operation by the Sacramento Police Department, the Sacramento County District Attorney, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, and the Division of Law Enforcement's Special Operations Unit. Never heard of that one before. A collaborative investigation effort between the California Department of Justice and the California Highway Patrol. For families, nothing is more important than having the peace of mind to know that the neighborhood our children play in and the community where we live and work is safe, said the Attorney General. Today's operation is one step toward healing the Sacramento community from the ills of gun violence. I want to thank all our partners at the local, state, and federal level for a successful collaboration. Thanks to the hard work of SAC PD detectives and officers, as well as our partner agencies, a large number of guns are now off the streets of the Sacramento region, said the Sacramento Police Chief Daniel Hahn. As violent crime has increased, the dedication of our officers is even more crucial to the safety of our community. We are grateful for their commitment to Sacramento. Gangs and criminal groups remain a key driver to the uptick of violent crime in our communities, and this investigation has been a prime example of the continuing problem, said Special Agent in Charge Patrick Gorman of the San Francisco Field Division of the ATF. These criminals are flagrant and reckless in their use of firearms for violence and intimidation. The ATF uses its expertise to investigate and prevent the criminal misuse of firearms and to disrupt firearm trafficking schemes. We work to reduce violent crime by targeting shooters and the sources of their firearms. ATF and our partners are dismantling criminal groups and gangs that pose the greatest threat to public safety, and it is through our partnership that law enforcement agencies create an unwavering, unified front against violent crime. The arrests this week are the product of a collaborative effort between the ATF and our state and local partners. The investigation culminated today when law enforcement agents executed 19 search warrants and 15 arrest warrants in Sacramento. During the operation, law enforcement agents arrested 16 individuals and seized and recovered 24 firearms, including 6 assault weapons, of which 4 were ghost guns. The agent also seized the equipment used to manufacture the ghost guns. Over the course of the investigation, numerous violent crimes were prevented. Crucial evidence related to a homicide was obtained. 26 individuals were arrested, and more than 125 firearms were seized. The majority of the firearms seized were assault weapons, including ghost guns. Members of the gang have allegedly committed various crimes, including attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, conspiracy to commit robbery, human trafficking, and the sale and possession of illegal firearms. Agents from the United States Drug Enforcement Administration, Federal Bureau of Investigation, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, SSU Special Service Unit, and the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office also contributed. Through collaboration, the Special Operations Unit provides statewide enforcement for combating violent career criminals, gangs, and other organized crime groups, along with interstate drug traffickers. These unique and essential teams use the latest technology and advanced investigation techniques and work alongside local law enforcement to enhance investigations into violent criminals and organized crime throughout the state.
There it is there, huh?
Hey, isn't Mozzie from Oak Park Bloods?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna start from there and then take it back.
Gotcha.
Mozzie's a big name, and he's pretty much the face right now of Oak Park. Yeah. Now, some people will say no. You got to separate rap music from gang music, but he's pretty much blurred those lines. His music is all based on the gang he's from. It's all pretty much based on the lifestyle that he's lived. And that's just Sacramento street politics. That's just Sacramento. Now, me and you have discussed numerous times and over several conversations, Sacramento's always been a little bit different. Shout out to Sacramento first and foremost. But they're an island of their own. They got a different style, a different flavor. They're a mix of the Valley and the Bay Area. Some people do consider them the Bay. I'm here to tell you they're not the Bay Area. They are their own. 9-1 Sickness, capital city. But yeah, Mozzie's from Oak Park. And right now he's the face of Oak Park. You know, he's blowing up in the rap industry and the music industry. But to think that he's not still affiliated or part of that street life, part of what's going on, man, that you'd be really, that's a big misconception, because once you're part of something, once you're part of something, you can't just get out like that, you know, and still be considered in good standings or still be considered, you know, to have the backing of that neighborhood. So yeah, Mozzie plays an intricate part into what they got going on. But even prior to Mozzie, Oak Park's always been a very well-established big hood in Sacramento.
Yeah.
You know, I did time as a youth, and NRCC, which was located, it's tore down now, but it was located on Ramona Drive in Sacramento. And I remember the deepest hood there out of Northerners, everybody was the Oak Park Bloods. And I remember there being a few Garden Block Crips, and that was their worst enemy at the time. You know, this is when the 90s, when the Crips and Bloods thing was really booming and banging. And I remember these Oak Park Bloods used to take off on site on any of the Sacramento Crips that they ran into. Now, of course, they started running into other Crips from Bakersfield that they were sending, and things changed a little bit. You know, Crips started to get deeper, but these Bloods were moving on them in a vicious fashion. It was an on-site thing. So they caught my attention. They piqued my interest. I've always known about Oak Park. I've always respected the way they wiggled. But now things have changed. From what that article says, they're really getting ingrained into these ghost guns. They're really getting ingrained to really going out there and banging motherfuckers' heads off. And that's how it is in Sacramento. You know, like I said, it's an animal of its own, and they're not playing in Sac. You know, people think they could just go into Sac. They hear the rap music. They hear the Brother Lynch, the Cash Money Lavish D, and that's something I'll talk about too. And Mozzie and this, but the inner workings of Sacramento is there's a lot of street politics involved. There's a lot of hoods. There's a lot of stuff going on that if you're not from the city of Sacramento, on the outside looking in, you can't identify.
Right.
You got to be from there to know. You know?
Yeah, like you were saying, shout out to Sac. And when we say they're different, their get down's different. And we're not saying that makes them better or worse. It's just unique to Sacramento. Hey, and they man, you know, 20 years ago, you know, I kind of personally, my opinion only, and this isn't meant to offend, I didn't take Sacramento serious. You know, to me, it was the Bay Area. You know, San Jose. I consider the Bay San Jose. No matter what, it's part of the Bay Area geographically. Yeah, Salinas, and you know your area all the way from Stockton all the way down to damn near Fresno. I considered that, you know, the real heart of the homies, man. But hey, Sacramento ain't playing though, man. You can't take that away from them, man. They've became more, you know, involved, more. They're doing things out there, bro, and it's a dangerous area now. Before, I would have even thought twice about rolling through Sac. Now it's like, okay, well, you know, you got to be on your P's and Q's out there now, because they're not messing around. And the homies out there, as far as the Northern collective, they interact they're real intermingled with the brothers out there. You know, as an example, you did a spin a long time ago on Gunner's Collective. This is one you guys should check out about the Zillas. You know what I mean? That Gunner had dropped before. And there's a lot of coexistence and intermingling and homeboys getting involved in problems that might have been traditionally problems only with the brothers. Now the homies have a part in it. It's a different animal out there, man. You know?
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And I did do something on the Zillas, and that, just to kind of clean it up, was that Zilla group, which is part of Oak Park, was having a big impact onto certain barrios in Sacramento. You know, certain barrios, not everybody was participating in the reindeer games, but a certain barrio, and I'm not going to speak on them, were actually forming some type of an alliance. Now, we've seen alliances with the brothers, man, in prison. You know, it's happened. There's always a loose alliance that's well known, well documented.
Hey, C14.
Yeah, C14. We had CXIV. A lot of Crips from Stockton. I've never had a problem with Crips. More so, I've had problems with Bloods. I'm not saying I have a problem with Bloods. Respect to them. I like their get down. I like the way they wiggle. But I'm saying at the end of the day, man, the Crips were always a little bit more different when it came to the northern aspect of things, and Bloods always seemed to be very, not clandestine, but very quiet, and they just didn't really get involved. They were up
They didn't
short,
intermingle.
man.
Yeah, they didn't intermingle.
Yeah, they didn't intermingle. They stuck to their own. But I have had the chance and the opportunity to talk to a lot of autos out of Oak Park, Norteños and Bloods, and I could say, man, their get down is pretty much the same. They got a lot of the same characteristics, a lot of the same ways. And, when you grow up together, it's kind of like the Bay Area. Say, take Oakland, for instance. Oakland's talked about the most, Oaklon. Brothers and Norteños or Chicanos, period. Even the Border Brothers and when I say Border Brothers, I mean the hood Border Brothers in Oakland and the Sureños have all grown up simultaneously, side by side with the Africanos. There's not been a big distance, and there's not been too much inner turmoil. They've all pretty much got along, and that's Bay Area style. That's Bay Area flavor. The brothers pretty much are the predominant group in Oakland and the surrounding area.
Yeah, that's why there hasn't been a lot of problems.
Exactly.
They don't want the problems with the blacks in Oakland.
No, yeah, and absolutely, because the blacks are the predominant group, and they've had Oakland on lock since the 60s, since the Black Panthers. Yeah. But there are a lot of Chicanos, a lot of raza, Latino Americanos in Oakland and the surrounding areas, but they've always got along pretty much good with the blacks. This is where Frisco, Oakland, where you get the black and brown unity. That's where it was established. Whereas down south, it's a little bit different. Now, the city of Sacramento has carried on that tradition, but even more so because what Sacramento has done is these gangs have ties. See, whereas hoods in Oakland, okay, you're from the Acorns, you're from Seminary, you're from whatever, and then you had the Norteño hoods. Yeah, in some cases, they might have shared the same streets or the same projects or whatever the case may be, but their hoods were different. They got along. There was no problems, but you do you, we're going to do us, and in that fashion. But in Sacramento, it's different. It's gelled. It's blurred the lines where they share the same hoods. And if you got a problem with the Bloods, and then you got a problem with me type stuff. Yeah. And it's vice versa. It goes both ways. And a lot the heavy influence that I see in Sacramento right now is the rap music, the rap scene. A lot of these guys are gang members that don't get along, that are broke out into the rap game. And Sacramento's, it's heavy into rap music right now, man. It's being shouted out, man. You got CML, man. He's just signed to what's his name, Prince out of Houston.
Yeah, Jay Prince.
Yes, his son, man, Junior, man. He just signed with him. Of course, you got Mozzie just signed to CMG, Yo Gotti, and so you got all this going on. You got all this going on, and what's going on is these gangs are starting to. The doors are being opened for them. The doors are being opened for them in Sacramento to really get into the music scene, to really make some bread, to make some money. And so with that comes politics, comes gangs, and a lot of these guys have internal beef and real beef from the streets. And see, I don't think the music industry is ready for that. You had like Pac and Biggie, and their beef was friends turned foes, and it was pretty much out east, west coast. They tried to make it into a big thing that it really wasn't. It was really just some inner turmoil, man, that could have been probably resolved with words, but went a different route. Now with these guys, there's a hatred, years and years of hatred that street politics dictate, where these guys can't get along. And now going into the rap scene, that's starting to put the focus and the attention on the city of Sacramento, man, and they're really getting off over there in Sac. And like I said, and we've talked about it, they've always been different. I wouldn't say, just like you said, I wouldn't say I looked at them like any less than, but I just always thought that they were fucking just a little bit different in the way they wiggled, Yeah. And that's just it. So yeah, at the end of the day, from me looking at it, with what this ATF did and FBI and whoever, this joint task force that raided on them, it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. When a group or a gang starts to accumulate funds and starts to make money, they're automatically a target, and they're going to get all eyes on me. They're already going to get, everyone's going to look at them, whether it's ill-gotten gains or good, or, decent, it's legit money, doesn't matter. They're still going to catch the attention of all these people. And when you got the youngsters that are out there really gang banging, really banging out there, it's just going to put the focus on the hood. And right now it seems like it's Operation Oak Park. You know, that's the gang they're targeting. And like I said, they have a big history. Oak Park's been doing their thing for several years and have never really been on the radar until now.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with, just like you said, is the rap music. You know, there's so many artists coming out of Sacramento, and it's gang banging music, bro. You know what I mean? You know, hey, Mozzie's tight, Lavish D's tight, all them cats got it. You know what I mean? But when you're having, when you know, the cops are already don't like you because they know who you are, whether you be north, south, you know, Oak Park, Garden Block, it doesn't matter. They don't like you, you know. So when they're investigating you and they're searching up investigation things and they see nothing but they're looking at it like this. Oh, they're throwing it all up in our face that they're gang banging the Oak Park this and Oak Park that. And, you know, they're going to be like, well, you know, young kids are watching this and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, and they're going to bring all kinds of extra stuff into it. And they're going to take that shit personally. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. They get in their feelings like, oh, these guys are shining too hard. Well, all they're really doing is trying to make a few dollars. You know what I mean? I get it. You get it. But, you know, the message when I never understood the thing with gangs and drawing attention to yourself. You know, you're already out there. You're already a target. And then you're going to just make hella music on a public level that puts just more of a spotlight on you. Because you know, when you're a Mozzie cat or somebody like that, they're gonna look at you as a leader, bro. Whether he's like a private in their army and not a general, that doesn't matter, because Mozzie can spit. I enjoy his music like a motherfucker. I slap him. Yeah, I slap him all the time. So he's looked at as the face, which a lot of people are automatically gonna equate to leadership, even though that's not necessarily the damn case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, if I was an active ass gang member and I had the gift of lyrical talent, if I could write, if I could rap, whatever the case might be, man, I sure would be writing stuff about no gangs. That's just me though. You know?
Yeah.
That's where the money's at these days though. That's where the money's at, that drill shit, that gangster shit, you know?
Oh yeah, but a smart individual that really is a real gang member, has really been in the game, knows enough to know that you want to separate yourself from that for two reasons. One, you don't want that stigma, you don't want the attention, and two, ramifications for you being a public figure is going to come back on your hood. And then guess what happens at the end of the day? The same thing that make you laugh will make you cry. The big homies that are really in the background, really gang banging in the streets, really holding it down for their hood, are going to feel some type of way about you because, yeah, at first it was all fine and dandy. You're bringing the money in, boom, boom, we're enjoying that. But now you're bringing us negative attention. Everyone knows, man, negative outshines positive. Period. That's just the way life is. Everyone loves drama. So when the focus starts to become on them, they're going to feel some type of way, and your rap career could end swiftly. You know what I mean? Bang, bang. That's just how it is. That's the realities of gang banging. And this is not to make this a gang issue, because it's not all about that. But at the end of the day, man, when you have the limelight, when you have the platform, when everyone's looking at you, you have to know how to separate yourself from certain things that are real life. You know, you see a lot of hip hop beef, and that's for fakes. That's not for reals. You know, LL Cool J and Kumo D back in the days, they were actually good friends, but they found a way to sell more records. That was fakes. That was not for reals. But when you got Cash Money Lavish D from Stars 30 Gang, and you got Oak Park Bloods Mozzie, that's real. And us being from Northern California, we know the realness of that and the history of that. So now when these two are taking off, their stars are shining, they're actually ascending. You know, ATF and all these law enforcement groups have no other choice but to feel some type of way, because they're getting paper, and focus it on the ones who are really out there in the trenches doing it. Not to say them two individuals aren't. I know they're real life, but at the end of the day, there's other bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this goes all the way back to like when I had first got out from doing a little violation or something, and 17 Reasons came out, you know, with Northside Soldier. I was like, oh, that's not good. And then, you know, especially when the GUN thing dropped, I'm like, God, you guys are begging for them to just come and just act any old way. You know, and especially when you're in one of those three bigger groups, you know what I mean? Not just a street gang, which, don't get me wrong, they're no less violent, no less nothing. And they're, you know, they're more so in the community doing stuff than everybody that's mostly locked down. I get it. Yeah. But man, that's the kind of attention you don't want, man. And I don't get it. Hey, they're making money though. Both of them cats, Lavish D, Mozzie's killing it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
But
man, you just find it crazy numbers.
it's hard not to chase the bag when the bag's coming so easy. When you're talking about certain shit, it's hard to be like, man, maybe this isn't the best long-term thing for, the health of myself, my family, my homies on the streets and whatever. You lose that perspective because the cash is just bam, bam, bam,
It is
bam.
deserving. These men have started from the trenches. These men have worked their way up and elevated through the city of Sacramento, which didn't have a lot of focus at that time. It's always been looked at as the little brother of the Bay, so they never really had that shine. I mean, we had, of course, back in the days, Brother Lynch out of Sac, C-Bo, everyone knows
X-Rated.
X, what's up, X? We know all this stuff, but at the end of the day, these guys have taken it to another level. They have taken it to another level, and the focus right now is not their music. Us being fans of their music, yes, we focus on the music, but us also being ex-gang members and knowing the streets the way we know them and knowing the inner workings of certain organizations and how the get down is, we know that a lot of the rap lyrics that are being put out there are bad for business. And this is the impact that it has on your body, on your hood, shit like this with the task force hitting. They don't hit you because they weren't even focused on Oak Park. Now, we know Oak Park tradition has been killing motherfuckers since day one. They don't play, but they weren't really focusing on them until some light got shining. I'm not going to blame it on Mozzie. I'm not going to blame it on the rappers, but I will say, man, from the outside looking in, it does look that way.
Yeah, they're bringing heat to themselves, and anytime that there's shootings, there's going to be problems. Anytime somebody that's considered a gang member gets some kind of status in regular society, like music, like acting, whatever the case might be, that's just gonna bring more inquisition about, well, what are these guys really about, man? They're this guy's got a gold record, you know what I mean? He's killing it on the streams, he's making big money. Is he taking that money and putting it back into negative stuff on the streets? That's what they're gonna want to know, bro, and they're gonna start investing.
Well, that's automatically what they assume.
Yeah.
See, they automatically assume, they see the glass half empty rather than half full. They automatically assume the negative rather than the positive.
For sure.
They think that he's funding the hood. He's doing this. Now, it's neither here nor there. Nobody knows but that man at the end of the day what he's doing with his money. That's his money, well-deserved and earned. But they don't see it that way. They see it as because they think he's using the platform to promote gang activity. They think by saying blah, da, da, and Bangladesh and what he's doing, these are words that are used out there predominantly in the to promote violence. So what they're going to do is they're going to double back on you, Mozzie, right? And they're going to go to the hood and hit you where it counts. You know how it is, man. Hit the little guys, man. And the guy that's, really out there, man, is going to feel the repercussions for that. Because not only is he going to feel it in numbers and sales, but he's also going to feel it from his hood when he goes back. Motherfuckers ain't going to be happy with that, You better cash them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not only do they not like ghost guns, but when they find the stuff that you use to construct them, where you're actually, well, I mean, it's a federal either way, but like say I've never been in trouble, I get pulled over, I got a ghost gun, I'm gonna get in some trouble. Oh, yes, if I've never been in trouble and you kick my house in and I'm manufacturing multiple ghost guns,
it's over.
They don't like that stuff, bro.
That's the 101 target right now. Yeah. Right now, the target is these ghost guns. It's a phenomenon.
Ghost guns and fentanyl.
Yeah, they run hand in hand in some aspects. But the ghost guns right now, especially in Northern California, I can't speak on Southern California because I don't know what's going on down there right now. But in Northern California, ghost guns are like 101 target right now. They're targeting that, because I mean it's easy to do a murder when you have something that they can't trace, and these are just they're they got these 3D things, machines going on now where people are making. It's just there's a lot going on. We're in the future now. Yeah. Okay, we're in the future. We're now established in a different era, a different time. Things are more accessible. People are more accessible with the internet. Every day you could put on TV and see something different. Whatever you want to watch, you don't have to wait. Everything is on demand. And that's the same thing with firearms. They're on demand. If you need one, you can get one. And they know that. And so their job is to prevent these from hitting the streets. And, it's cops and robbers, the old cops and robbers. And, whoever wins. But at the end of the day, man, it's hard to fight a task force that has multiple agencies watching and has all the resources to focus on a hood. You know, it's just a hood, bro. You got one guy that's a rapper bringing in all that money. Yeah, that's cool. But at the end of the day, man, can you really fight the United States government? Mm-mm. You ain't got no chance. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's that, man. We found that little article, man, very interesting, man, because, you know, it's rare that we find something that targets any California group that's really not one a part of the big three. You know what I mean? We had the thing with Florencia with the killing of that off-duty officer looking at a home, you know, still kind of relates to the big three, man. But just focusing on, you know, a street gang only, it's not too often that the DOJ and all them are hitting it if it doesn't have something to link back to the North, the South, the whites, even the Bulldogs. You know what I mean? So we wanted to bring that to you, break it down a little bit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's your boy Rojo, joined by Big Gunner. And man, we'll holler at you guys later, man. Have a productive rest of your Wednesday.